Today, we are beating the heat with these easy and delicious air fryer recipes. Just so you know, your air fryer is not just for reheating chicken nuggets and french fries. You can make entire meals in this thing, and I'm telling you, they are so delicious. We have used our air fryer for so many recipes, and they're so easy to make. This is supposed to be like the best air fryer chicken ever. We are going to make up a paste that's gonna go on the chicken. So I'm starting with some olive oil. We need about a tablespoon of olive oil. I am adding in 1 teaspoon of salt to the olive oil. We are gonna add a 1/2 teaspoon of oregano, a 1/2 teaspoon of paprika. You guys know, oh, gotta open this one up. One thing I love about adding things like paprika, chili powder, even a little touch of cayenne pepper, if you're not afraid of spice, I love the color element that those add. So I said 1/2 teaspoon, I believe. Didn't I? 1/2 teaspoon. Yes, 1/2 teaspoon. I'm gonna go a touch more. A 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. We're using white pepper. That's just what I have right now. Okay, 1/2 teaspoon of that. And we are going to add some garlic powder. You could also add onion powder if that's something that you like. We're looking at around a 1/2 teaspoon. Okay, so we've got all these flavors. That's not on, there we go. Let's just mix this together, creating somewhat of a paste here. Now I'm gonna try something I actually haven't tried in my air fryer basket before. I put parchment paper down. I'm still gonna set it on top of this other insert tray because I try and avoid getting stuff all over the bottom of the air fryer. Plus ours is a little different. It's an air fryer oven. So we are going to add the chicken to the air fry basket. Oh, I'm also using chicken breasts. Supposedly this recipe will turn you on to chicken breasts. We will see. It's supposed to be really juicy, really good. We'll see how it turns out. Okay, let's take this paste. I hope this is enough for all of them. And I'm gonna start by just drizzling over the top here, and then I'm gonna rub it in a little. You know, I feel like this would be really good if you had this on both sides. Let's see if we can at least use the leftover on the spoon to manage that, because we're gonna be cooking these for 10 minutes on 370 degrees in our air fryer, but we're gonna flip them halfway through. So obviously I do think you want this sauce on both sides. I think that would be really good that way. Okay, the instructions don't say to do this, but I am gonna preheat my air fryer for just a couple of minutes to 370 degrees. Our oven is nicely preheated at 370 degrees. This is gonna go in for 10 minutes. We will take the chicken out and flip it, and then in between 8 and 10 minutes on the other side. I'll check it at the 8-minute mark. We don't wanna overcook it, but I'm thinking that's actually probably where it's gonna end up. So the 8-minute mark was perfect. I ended up taking it, so 10 minutes on the first side, 8 minutes on the second, and we decided to serve these with some smashed potatoes, which is one of our absolute favorite sides. It is so good, but this chicken looks so nice and juicy. It is gonna be so delicious. The flavors of this are really good. You get all those different flavors that we mixed in there, and they just like marinated the chicken. I think you could probably marinate it even, and it would be really, really good. It's cooked perfectly. It's really good, and it came together so fast. If you're looking for an option that's gonna feed your family, it's really tasty and it comes together quick, this is a great one. We are gonna make air fryer chicken fajitas. So I've got some chicken and 3 different colors of bell pepper here. We're gonna cut these up into slices the same way that you would get if you were going to a restaurant and ordering fajitas, so they'll be all ready to go. Now, as I cut everything, I'm going to put them into a nice big bowl here so that we can end up tossing it in our spices. So the first thing we're gonna do is just cut up these peppers. Now, I'm just cutting them into strips. I want them to be moderately, why do I keep doing that? Didn't break the skin. I want them to be about the same size so they cook all at around the same temperature and time. You probably don't have to do full peppers if you don't feel like you need that much. I'm actually kind of hoping that we'll have leftovers so that I don't have to cook tomorrow or maybe lunches. We've got all of our beautifully colored peppers here. Now I've got 2 pretty large chicken breasts. We are going to end up cutting these this way, kind of like butterflying them, but all the way through. And then I'll cut them into strips. That's just something that I find whenever we make strips, I like to thin out the chicken a bit first. Otherwise, I feel like the strips end up being a little uneven. So that's usually the method that I'll go for. How has your summer been? Have you guys had any vacations? What is your heat index like? Over the past couple of days, it's been rather warm. My husband and I like to take walks together, and we've tried to go earlier and earlier. We were going at 8 a.m., but I actually think we're gonna have to move it even earlier, like 6:30, because it's definitely getting warm outside. And I love the heat. I am a Florida girl through and through, always will be. Okay, so we're just cutting into strips. And you wanna make sure they're not too thick. You don't want them to be too thick, too thin. I wanna say like, that's probably a ½ inch or so. And I'm just tossing them in with the peppers. We're gonna end up mixing all of the ingredients together in there, all of the spices. Also, if you notice my 4th of July nails, so this week was 4th of July week when I'm filming this. So I often plan ahead, like well ahead for YouTube videos, because my thing is, if I'm doing something like an air fryer video, well, usually I don't want to eat 3 air fryer meals in a week because there's other things that we really like to eat or other recipes that we're wanting to try. Same thing with crock pot meals. We use our crock pot quite a bit, but I like to space it out. So anyway, if you're seeing this significantly later than 4th of July, that's because I've planned ahead at least a month on my YouTube videos and what we're having throughout the week and what those recipes look like. So just in case any of you are wondering, the 4th of July nails that I have going on. Chicken strips are cut. Let me clean all this up and then I'll be back. I'm sure you could just find a fajita spice in the store, but these are all spices that I already have on hand, so we just end up using those. I've got 2 teaspoons of a chili seasoning. You could use a taco seasoning, you could use a fajita seasoning, whatever you want to use. I have a full teaspoon of paprika. We'll add that in. We've got garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, about a teaspoon of onion powder. Also, this onion powder that I got this time is very powdery. It's different than the ones I've had in the past. I've got salt and pepper, and this is 1 teaspoon of salt and a ½ teaspoon of pepper. Just get that all around here. And then cumin, you gotta have cumin. You can have like a ½ teaspoon, a teaspoon, whatever you're comfortable with. I'm gonna start just mixing all this together. Then we're gonna add in a little bit of oil. We wanna make sure nothing sticks to our air fry basket and it has just at least a little bit. It's gonna help that crispiness. Okay, so we wanna make sure we're really mixing this up, getting all those flavors all over the peppers, all over the chicken. So tell me, at this time of year, what is your favorite method of cooking? Do you guys like your air fryer? Do you have, I mean, if you're watching this video, you probably do have an air fryer, but do you use your Instant Pot more? Do you use your crock pot more? Or, I mean, I know a lot of times, honestly, because it's real warm outside, real hot outside, we like to do cold things for dinner. So even sandwiches or cold pasta salads and stuff, because it's just so refreshing in the heat. Let's add a little bit of oil here. It's probably overall like a ½ tablespoon maybe, but you can add as much or as little as you feel like you need. This is a lot, and the way that my air fryer is, I actually wish I had 2 of these baskets. If I can order another basket, I probably will. I don't know why I didn't think to do that before now, but you can fit 2 of the baskets in the air fryer, but I don't have 2 baskets, I only have 1. So I actually might separate this into 2 different batches because this is more than we'll need for dinner tonight. So like I said, I knew we were gonna have leftovers. I mean, you honestly probably could put it in there, just make sure you're flipping several times throughout the cook. All right, even though we added oil, I am gonna spray the air fry basket just to try and prevent sticking, and then we'll add half of the ingredients in here. This is gonna go into the air fryer. We're cooking it at 350 for about 16 to 20 minutes. Now at the 9-minute mark, I am gonna take it out and make sure that I toss it so that it gets cooked all over, but these are gonna go in right now. We have this fajita holder that we've used approximately 3 times in our entire marriage. So since we're having fajitas, you know, it kind of goes. I just wet a paper towel and put it at the bottom here. And then I pop this in the microwave just to heat it up and so that it's kind of steaming. And then put the fajitas in there and it just keeps them nice and warm. I don't know if that's actually how you're supposed to do it, but that's how I do it. The tortillas are gonna go in here until we're ready to eat. And then we're just waiting on the fajitas. I actually have a taste test here, and for some reason there was no sound to it, so I wanted to let you guys know we did really enjoy these. We made up the fajitas, added a little bit of sour cream. You can add whatever you want. We ate the rice on the side, but you could put it in there as well, and we really enjoyed these. The cook was perfect on them, and the flavor was awesome. Tonight for dinner, we are making another air fryer meal. This is crispy panko chicken in the air fryer, really easy to make. I'm gonna prep all of our, what do you call them? Like our dredging mixtures before I do anything else. So I have a bowl here, and this has, we're gonna combine our spices. I've got a teaspoon of onion powder and a teaspoon of garlic powder. We can dump those in. We've got 1 teaspoon of paprika. I've got a teaspoon of salt. Also feel free, oh, we dumped some of the salt over here. Also feel free to add pepper to that. Let's do a little whisk. And then we are going to actually take half of this and I'm gonna add it to my flour dredge. I have maybe a little over a half cup of flour here. Use whatever kind of flour you like. You could use oat flour, almond flour, whatever flour you like. So let's put half of it into that. Mix that together. We wanna make sure that that original, that very first thing that our chicken is going into is gonna have really great flavor because that's right next to the chicken. It's the closest layer. Make it really good. We can pour the rest of it here into this other bowl. We are going to add in some panko breadcrumbs. You need about a cup of these. And I'm not measuring, but feel free to do that. Also, I wanted to mention, I should not put these away yet. I think I got these in my Thrive Market order, but I can't remember. I really like this brand. I really like that it's, it's called Japanese style, but it's like a thicker breadcrumb. I like that a lot. Let's just combine the spices there. I mean, it's not, you know, it's not combining completely, but we'll just mix it a bit, just so we want some flavor in those breadcrumbs too. We'll feed some to the counter because that is what we do here. If you're new here, we always feed the counter every single video. So we have our flour bowl. We have a bowl that needs some milk. Let's put in about a half cup of milk. Use whatever kind of milk you want, just about a half cup or so. Actually, that's probably even more than I need. And then we have our panko dredge. Now, one thing I really like to do to this panko is add in some parsley because I do think that it adds an element of color, which is beautiful. You don't have to do this. It's just another step, but feel free to do that if you want to add some color to it. Otherwise, I feel like it's just whitish, brownish chicken. I felt like my parsley was going bad so quick every time I was buying it. So I started storing it in the refrigerator in a cup like this with just some water at the bottom, and it is lasting so much longer. Not a necessary step, but it does add another element of color, which you guys know I love seeing color. And then I will also save a little bit for garnish. It just looks pretty. That's really what it boils down to. Now the next step is to butterfly our chicken But when I say butterfly, I'm actually going all the way through. We're not just gonna butterfly and open, we cut it all the way through. I feel like you get a more even flavor, texture, all that kind of stuff. I also always cut off the fat because I think it's disgusting. Before we start the process of dredging the chicken, I'm going to spray my air fryer pan so that immediately after it's done, I can put it right in here. So I'm just spraying with some avocado oil. You need to pat dry your chicken, okay? Pat it dry, make sure it's nice and dry. It's gonna help a little, okay? You can even, I've heard people say that you can actually sprinkle it with, I think it's baking soda, and that's gonna kind of help to get a crispiness on it. I've done that, I believe, with chicken wings. Was that how we did it? I think we tried it with chicken wings and it worked, so you can do that if you want. Look it up. Before you try it, look it up. We are going in the flour. Okay, making sure we get a nice flour coating on here. Then we will go into the milk. And you can also use egg as a substitute for that if you don't want to use milk, which is completely fine. And then into the panko. And then onto the air fry basket. So really, this is so easy. Now, obviously you can see the first one got the majority of the parsley, which that's fine. Like I said, I'll top with some more parsley. It'll be good to go. All right, we are going to put these in our air fryer at 360 degrees, about 5-6 minutes each side. We do wanna flip them and make sure that they get cooked really well on both sides and get that beautiful color that the air fryer gives. So the chicken is in there and it's almost done. And on a night like tonight, when it's a very simple meal, my husband is actually staying a little later at work tonight, so he's not gonna make it home for dinner. So we're keeping it really easy, but here's the thing. I knew we were gonna have rice because we had leftover rice from last night, and I made this chicken. Well, the chicken and this rice is basically all the same color, and that's just not fun on a plate. So I'll add a fruit bowl, super simple, especially at this time of year when all this fruit is in season. So you can see it adds such a beautiful color to the plate and it's so easy to put together. I love fruit and my kids love fruit, so that's a win. All right, perfectly done. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I did 5 minutes on one side and 7.5 minutes on the other side. Now, obviously it depends on the size of your chicken breasts and how thin they are, but it is perfectly done. Very good flavor. I think you could add a little more salt, and I would probably do the egg dip instead of milk next time. I just feel like egg adds another element to this, but other than that, it's very, very good and so easy to throw together. I love meals like this that can come together so quick. I mean, we have a full meal and all I did was make the chicken. All right, tonight for dinner, we are having marinated Greek yogurt chicken, and you already know how much I love these flavors because I've talked about them several times here on my channel. Greek flavors, Mediterranean flavors, but we're gonna make a marinated Greek yogurt chicken, and I wanna tell you, we actually made this one the other night. We are gonna have it again because it was that good. So delicious, so easy to make. You guys are gonna love this one. Now I'm mixing up my marinade in a bowl, but then we're gonna transfer this to a freezer bag. So we're starting with a little less than a half cup of olive oil or avocado oil and adding in a 1/4 cup of Greek yogurt. I also am going to be adding some lemon juice, and I like to do at least a tablespoon, but you can add more if you love those flavors. Red wine vinegar, also adding that in as well. We need also about a tablespoon or a little bit more. I also love to add in salt. I go with about a teaspoon. You wanna have good flavor, and pepper. A little lighter on the pepper, maybe closer to a 1/4 teaspoon. Now you can't do Greek flavors without oregano, so I'm definitely adding in oregano, and this is gonna be about a teaspoon. So we go a little heavy on the oregano, but it's because we love these flavors so much. I also like to add in both onion powder and garlic powder. And for those, I usually do just under a teaspoon. go with whatever amount you like. And even though we added garlic powder, I love adding minced garlic. We're just mixing this around and getting that marinade ready. And then I'm gonna take some chicken thighs. You guys know how much we love chicken thighs. You can absolutely use chicken breasts if that's what you wanna use, but I do like to trim off a lot of the fat. So if I see fatty pieces, I pretty much always trim those off. Once we're done with that, I'm gonna use these freezer storage bag stands. It makes it so easy to put things inside of a bag as it holds the bag. Drop in the chicken, and then I'm gonna pour that marinade all over the top. Now you do want this marinade to sit in the refrigerator for at least 4 hours, and you can even go up to overnight, which is what we're doing tonight. I'm prepping this, and then we will actually eat these tomorrow. Make sure that marinade is spread all around, and then these are gonna be ready for the air fryer tomorrow. Feel free to make these in the morning and have them ready for the evening though, if that's what your preference is. Okay, first thing we need to do is spray that air fry basket. And for right now, I'm actually only gonna make one piece. I'm making it right now for the purpose of this video, and then we're gonna make the rest of them later. I have actually marinated enough that we can have it for dinner tonight, and then I can have it with lunches this week. So let's just take one of these out of the bag, go right here in the center. Look at that marinade, it looks so good. Now I will say toward the bottom of the bag, I really packed this bag full, but toward the bottom of the bag, let me just fling this all over me. You're gonna have more of that Greek yogurt marinade, and you guys, it really is delicious. This is gonna go in the air fryer. I like to do about 365 degrees. Usually for chicken thighs, I end up cooking them for about 12 to 14 minutes. So at the 5-minute mark, 6-minute mark, I will flip it over and we'll make sure it gets cooked on both sides. All right, so our chicken is done and it looks delicious. I'm gonna give it a little taste, even though we had it the other night, and I know it's so good. It's really delicious. The flavors are perfect together. You have the perfect balance, and I wanna say the chicken is not dry at all. I genuinely think that the air fryer does such a great job at helping to put together really good dinners like that. I also have an honorable mention. Even though this is not made in the air fryer, this is our most common side dish right now because we have tomatoes and cucumbers in abundance from the garden. So if you're wondering what we're having as a side dish, this is 3 nights out of 7 right now. Our verse today comes from John 1:1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you need more air fryer inspiration, I've got more of that here on my channel. And also, if you just need more chicken inspiration, I've got that. If you need more dinner inspiration, I've got that too. There are so many different things that are gonna inspire you and encourage you right here. I highly suggest that you watch this video next listed above. Have a great week.